To ensure that AI advances equity and civil rights, the President directs the following additional actions: to provide clear guidance to landlords, federal benefit programs, and federal contractors to keep AI algorithms from being used to exacerbate discrimination; to address algorithmic discrimination through training, technical assistance, and coordination between the Department of Justice and federal civil rights offices on best practices for investigating and prosecuting civil rights violations related to AI. Can you imagine? I mean, this is going to be AI that will be formed with the principles of CRT. That's what this is. So imagine like a code equivalent of Ibram X. Kendi's CRT nonsense as part of AI forever. That's going to go well, right? Because that's exactly what they're pushing here. Yeah, go ahead, Kane. Go ahead and share. Just share.
Well, I just know the government has been trying to get control of the internet with net neutrality for a long, long time. And I think they've realized that that's an uphill battle they're unwilling to continue. So I think with this AI, I think they're going to also usher in government control, right? There has to be controls with AI or else it just goes crazy. And,
oh, yeah.
Society will be better off with government in control. And this is their effort to do that very thing that they've been trying to do with net neutrality for so long.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, here's exactly what it's going to be. I was reading the fact sheet, and it sounds they want fairness. But why would you use AI in sentencing? They want to use AI for everything. Do you realize what this is? It's humans giving up. And so, but before they give up, they want to make sure that they incorporate all of this AI, DEI, CRT stuff in it. Really? It's going to be Peter Singer on steroids. Oh my gosh. This is terrifying. This is like, I read this and it reads like a horror film. The fact sheet of it, it is absolutely terrifying. Imagine, because the algorithm is built on what it is given. So whatever perspective someone has, they will shape it. So the winners write the history books. Well, it's not going to be that anymore. The winners are going to be writing the algorithm. If you think that this isn't going to happen, I would just direct you to how Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, etc., all of these have been run. Just look at how all of this has been ran. This is exactly how this is going to go. And so, can you imagine this being applied? I mean, how is this going to work in healthcare? Workplace equity, health equity? What the hell is health equity? What is that? That sounds like a death panel sort of thing. That sounds like someone is going to be actively incorporating discrimination, because that's what equity is. Equity is about making sure that everything, like equality is everybody has the same opportunities. Equity is everybody has to have the same outcomes, regardless of the choices that you make. Because that's what people omit when they talk about equity versus equality. Equality is that making sure everyone has the same, access to opportunity. But equity isn't about opportunity. It's about you must have the exact same outcomes. And it disregards choice. It disregards a lot of stuff for the purpose of claiming that making sure that all the results are the same, it's better than equality. That's how equity is advertised. It's better than equality. It's equality 2.0. But that's not, equity has to incorporate discrimination in order to achieve the same outcome. It means that some people have to be penalized, like if they're through no fault of their own. And some people will be penalized for making the right choice, and some people will be credited for making the wrong one. I mean, just so that you can get the same outcome. Isn't that horrible? That's one of the most evil things. Equity is evil. It is absolute evil. And I think that this is disastrous. This is one of the reasons why we cannot lose in 2024. I don't really want to talk about all the primary stuff, but I want you to realize that the primary is the general here. And you can like whoever you like as much as possible, but I'm telling you right now, there are some candidates that don't have a shot in hell at winning a general election. I mean, I've looked at that. My job is to look at the data, and I would much rather do things that are most advantageous to me. But unfortunately, that would require me to lie. And I don't like doing that. So I'm telling you, this is I think the AI stuff and writing the algorithms for this and who controls that is to me one of the biggest things. I mean, they talk about AI ecosystem in this. They actually have a phrase in here: use existing authorities to expand the ability of highly skilled immigrants and non-immigrants with expertise in critical areas to study, stay, and work in the U.S. They want to incorporate into the algorithm the premise that illegal immigration is actually legal and is fine, and that cannot be used as a negative. This is the type of perspective that's going to shape this. This is what I'm talking about. Now imagine this with healthcare as well. 2024 is going to require some really hard decisions to be made. Like, for instance, I know a lot of people are talking about Nikki Haley. Let me be really frank with us. Nikki Haley doesn't have a shot in hell at the general election. I don't dislike her as a person. She's come to the town I live in a lot, and she's fundraised with a lot of people that I consider friends. They've had fundraisers with her. I haven't gone, but I mean, that's their choice. I don't have anything against her personally. I disagree with her on some of her foreign policy, but I'm telling you, she doesn't have a shot in hell at winning. She is not going to be able to pull Trump voters away. Trump voters, the most hardcore group. They're not going to. Nikki Haley represents someone who is takes an opposing view to some of the principles they hold, particularly with regards to foreign policy. You're going to have a lot of capital L libertarians that went over to the Republican side that aren't going to be voting for her because of foreign policy. Some people are going to be looking at her monetary policy. She just doesn't. The only reason she's doing well, she's getting Tim Scott stuff. She's getting, now that he's out of the race, she's getting some of his voters. She's not doing well. And I don't think that it's going to last. And so that's my perspective on it. I think that people are silly to try to sit here and call who's going to be winning and who isn't this early in, but that's just the truth of it. And you also have to look at independents. I mean, I'm not going to dive into it right now because we're very far away still from Iowa, but you have to look at the lay of the land, and you also have to realize that this election is bigger than one person and it's bigger than one candidate. I want to win because I don't want stuff like this being written by progressives. And if there are people out there that are willing to sacrifice their future, the future of their children, and the future of their grandchildren, and allow progressives to write stuff like the quote unquote AI ecosystem and incorporate forever equity as a premise of the AI future of the United States, and they are unwilling to get over their own ego or obsession with any candidate in any race to do so, then they are as bad for this country as the left is. Because this is about winning. And people who win don't take suicide missions politically. This stuff is, I think out of everything, this is the scariest stuff to me, is the AI stuff. This is absolutely terrifying because so much of this, I mean, this touches on criminal justice. It touches on healthcare decisions. It touches on education, everything. I mean, imagine some sentencing being determined by AI. You realize they're already using AI to solve problems. You need to watch the latest Mission Impossible because they get into this. I mean, imagine AI controlling conflict and determining military strategy based on AI. But with Democrats, they're going to incorporate, honestly, the Ibram X. Kendis of the world as a perspective for shaping the AI ecosystem. That's going to be disastrous. But that's what's going to happen if we lose in 24, and that is not an exaggeration. The choice is either country or ego for 2024. The primary is the general. Pick a side.